Imagine this. You're walking along a sun-soaked beach, waves crashing gently, the sand warm under your toes, and then bam! Something glints in the sunlight. You bend down, brush away the sand, and there it is. A ring, old and weathered, with a story etched into its worn surface. Who lost it? Why was it left here, buried by time and tide? That's exactly what happened to a woman named Claire, and let me tell you, what she uncovered after picking up that ring wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It was a mystery that changed her life forever. You're here because you love a good story, one that pulls you in, makes you feel something, and keeps you guessing. Well, buckle up, because this tale of a lost ring, a man waiting in the shadows, and a twist you won't see coming is going to keep you glued to your screen. I'm talking to you directly. Don't click away, because by the end of this video, you'll get the answers you're craving, and trust me, they're worth it. Let's set the scene. It's a warm summer day on a quiet stretch of coastline in North Carolina, the kind of place where families build sandcastles and couples stroll hand in hand. The beach is alive with the hum of life. Seagulls soaring overhead, the salty breeze tugging at your hair, and the ocean whispering secrets it's kept for years. Claire, our main character, is just like you or me. She's in her late 20s, a dreamer with a heart full of hope but a life that hasn't quite gone the way she planned. She's out for a walk, trying to clear her head after a rough week, when she spots that ring half buried in the sand. Now you might be thinking, okay, she found a ring. Big deal. But here's where it gets juicy. This isn't just any ring. It's engraved with initials and a date that's decades old. Claire's curiosity kicks into overdrive. Who does it belong to? Was it lost in a moment of heartbreak, or maybe something even deeper? You're probably wondering the same thing right now, aren't you? That's what makes you and me connect. We're both suckers for a mystery that feels personal, like it's pulling us into the story. And I promise if you stick with me, you're gonna feel like you're right there with Claire, unraveling this puzzle step by step. Now, let's talk about why this story matters to you. You're watching this video because you want to feel something. Maybe you're chasing that spark of wonder, or maybe you just need a break from the daily grind. Either way, I get it. Life can be heavy, and sometimes you need a story that lifts you up, makes you think, and reminds you that there's still magic out there. That's what Claire's journey is all about. She's not some superhero or a celebrity. She's real, relatable, someone who's been knocked down but keeps going. When she finds that ring, it's like the universe is handing her a challenge. Figure this out, Claire. Find the truth. And you're gonna be right there with her, feeling her excitement, her doubts, and her determination. I'm not just telling you a story. I'm inviting you into it. You're gonna want to know who the man is, the one who's been waiting, and what he has to do with this ring. Was he the one who lost it? Or is there something bigger at play? I'm not gonna spoil it yet, but I will say this. The answers are coming, and they're gonna hit you right in the feels. So don't you dare hit that back button. You're in too deep now, and I know you want to see where this goes. Let's dive a little deeper into Claire's world. She's the kind of person who notices the little things. The way the sunlight dances on the water, the sound of a child's laughter carried by the wind. She's got this quiet strength, but she's also carrying some baggage. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you've had moments where you felt lost, like the world's moving on without you. That's where Claire's at when she finds the ring. It's not just a shiny object, it's a spark, a reason to dig deeper. She starts asking questions, talking to locals, and piecing together clues. And that's where the man comes in. We don't know much about him yet, but here's what I can tell you. He's been tied to this ring for years, waiting for someone to find it, waiting for Claire. Is he a romantic figure, a ghost from the past, or something else entirely? You're probably itching to know, and I love that about you. That curiosity, that need to uncover the truth. It's what makes this story so addictive. You're not just watching a video, you're solving a mystery with me, and I'm counting on you to stick around until we crack it wide open. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. This story isn't just about a ring or a man. It's about connection, fate, and the way life throws curveballs that lead us to places we never expected. Think about it. Have you ever found something, a letter, a photo, a keepsake, that made you wonder about the person it belonged to? That's the hook here. Claire's discovery pulls her into a web of secrets, and you're gonna feel like you're unraveling it alongside her. The beach, the ring, the man, they're all pieces of a puzzle, and every clue brings us closer to the truth. But here's the thing. I'm not gonna give you all the answers right now. That'd be too easy, and you're smarter than that. You want the thrill of the chase, the slow burn of a story that keeps you guessing. So, I'm asking you to trust me. Keep watching, because every minute of this video is building toward a reveal that's gonna make your jaw drop. You're not just a viewer, you're part of this journey, and I need you here until the end. Let's set the tone a bit more. Picture the beach at dusk, the sky painted with hues of orange and purple, the air cooling as the day fades. There's something almost magical about it, like the world is holding its breath. That's the atmosphere Claire steps into as she starts digging into the ring's history. She's not alone, though. There's a cast of characters who come into play. Locals who know more than they're letting on, a historian with a knack for uncovering forgotten stories, and of course, the man who's been waiting. Each one adds a layer to the mystery, and you're gonna love how they all fit together. But I'm being careful here. I don't want to give too much away. The beauty of this story is in the unfolding, the way each piece clicks into place. You're probably already imagining what's coming next, and that's exactly what I want. I want you to feel invested, to care about Claire and her quest, to wonder about the man and what he's been holding on to all these years. You're not just watching a video, you're living this story with me, and I'm so glad you're here. Here's where I make you a promise. You're not gonna be left hanging without answers. You clicked on this video because you wanted to know what happens when Claire finds that ring and who the man is. I'm gonna deliver on that, but you've gotta meet me halfway. Stick with me, keep your eyes on the screen, and I'll take you through every twist and turn. This isn't one of those videos that drags on without a payoff. I've got you covered. The story of Claire, the ring, and the man is packed with emotion, surprises, and a truth that's gonna make you rethink everything. You're probably feeling that pull right now, that urge to keep going. That's because you and we're connected by this story. We're both chasing the same thing. The moment when it all makes sense. So, let's do this together. Let's follow Claire as she steps deeper into the mystery, as she gets closer to the man who's been waiting for her. And here's where things get really interesting. Claire's digging leads her to an old journal. Tucked away in a dusty archive, with entries that hint at a love story, or maybe a tragedy, tied to the ring. The initials on the ring match a name in the journal, but the details are vague, like pieces of a puzzle scattered across time. She's starting to feel like she's in over her head, but she can't stop now. You know that feeling, don't you? When you're so close to the truth that turning back isn't an option. That's where Claire's at, and that's where you're at too. You're invested, you're curious, and you're not going anywhere until you know how this ends. But just as Claire thinks she's getting close, she uncovers something that changes everything. A clue that points to the man, and a secret he's been keeping for decades. What is it? Who is he? And why has he been waiting for her? You're gonna have to keep watching to find out, because this is one cliffhanger you won't want to miss. Right where we left off, Claire's standing in a dimly lit archive room, the air thick with a musty scent of old paper. Her fingers trembling as she turns the brittle pages of that mysterious journal. The initials on the ring, EM and LR, match a name scrawled in faded ink, but the entries are cryptic, filled with half-told stories of love, loss, and a promise made under a moonlit sky. You're probably feeling the same rush she is, that mix of excitement and frustration when you're so close to a breakthrough but the answers are still just out of reach. Claire's heart is pounding because this journal isn't just a clue. It's a doorway into someone else's life, someone who loved fiercely and maybe lost everything. The date on the ring, 1963, lines up with the journal's entries, and there's a mention of a man who swore he'd wait forever for the woman he loved. Could that be the man Claire's been chasing? Is he still out there, or is this a ghost story wrapped in sand and time? You're hooked, aren't you? I know I am, and I'm right here with you, piecing this together, wondering what secrets are buried in these pages. Let's keep going, because Claire's about to stumble into something that makes this mystery even bigger than she imagined. Claire's not alone in this coastal town, and that's where the story starts to twist. There's a local named Tom, a weathered fisherman in his 60s who's been watching Claire from a distance ever since she started asking questions about the ring. Tom's the kind of guy who knows every inch of this beach, every tide, every storm that's ever rolled through. He's got stories of his own, tales of shipwrecks, lost treasures, and people who came to this shore looking for something they never found. When Claire bumps into him at the docks, he's polishing his boat, his hands rough from years of hauling nets. She shows him the ring, hoping for a lead, and his face changes, just for a split second, but she catches it. Tom knows something, but he's not talking, not yet. He mutters about things best left buried, and turns away, leaving Claire with more questions than answers. You can feel the tension, can't you? It's like the whole town is holding its breath, guarding a secret that's been hidden for decades. Tom's hesitation adds a new layer to the mystery, and you're probably wondering if he's protecting someone, or something. I'm not gonna lie, this is the kind of subplot that keeps me up at night, and I know you're just as curious to see where it leads. Now let's pull back and get to know Claire a little better, because she's not just some random woman who found a ring. She's someone you can root for, someone who feels like a friend. Growing up, Claire was always the one who believed in second chances, in fate, in the idea that everything happens for a reason. But life hasn't been kind to her lately. She moved to this small town after a messy breakup, hoping the ocean air would help her start over. She's got a job at a local cafe, serving coffee to tourists and listening to their stories, but deep down, she's searching for something more. Something to make her feel alive again. That's why the ring matters so much to her. It's not just a mystery. It's a purpose, a reason to keep going when everything else feels uncertain. You've probably had moments like that, haven't you? Times when you needed a sign, something to remind you that there's still magic in the world. Claire's journey is about chasing that magic, and as she digs deeper, you're gonna feel like you're right there with her, cheering her on, wondering if she'll find what she's looking for, or if she's in over her head. Meanwhile, there's another perspective creeping into the story, one that adds a whole new dimension to the mystery. Meet Sarah, the town's historian, a woman in her 50s with a sharp mind and a passion for uncovering the past. Claire tracks her down at the local library, hoping she can shed light on the journal and the ring. Sarah's office is a maze of books and maps, with photos of the town from decades ago pinned to the walls. When Claire shows her the ring, Sarah's eyes light up, but there's a flicker of unease, too. She recognizes the initials, EM and LR, and says they belong to a couple who were the talk of the town back in the 60s. Their story was legendary, a romance that burned bright until it ended in a way no one likes to talk about. Sarah's careful with her words, but she hints at a scandal, maybe even a tragedy, that left the town shaken. She promises to dig through her archives for more, but her hesitation makes Claire, and you, wonder if there's something she's not saying. Is Sarah just being cautious, or is she hiding something? This new perspective pulls you deeper into the web, making you question who you can trust and what really happened all those years ago. As Claire keeps pushing forward, the plot thickens with a subplot that's got your heart racing. She starts noticing strange things around town. Someone's been watching her, leaving subtle signs like a seashell placed on her doorstep or a cryptic note slipped under her cafe apron that reads, "Some truths are better left in the sand." At first, she brushes it off as paranoia, but the incidents keep happening, each one a little bolder, a little closer. You're probably feeling that chill down your spine, the same one Claire's feeling as she wonders if she's stirred up something dangerous. Is it Tom, with his guarded looks and cryptic warnings? Or could it be someone else, someone tied to the man who's been waiting? This subplot adds a layer of suspense that keeps you on edge, because now it's not just about solving a mystery. It's about whether Claire's safe while she's doing it. You're invested, aren't you? You want to know who's behind these signs, what they want, and how it all ties back to that ring glinting in the sand. Let's zoom out for a moment and talk about the bigger themes weaving through this story, because this isn't just a tale of a lost ring. It's about the way the past clings to the present, the way love and loss ripple through time. The beach itself is almost a character, with its shifting tides and hidden secrets, a place where people come to heal or to hide. Claire's journey is stirring up questions about fate and redemption, about whether some promises are meant to be kept or broken. You're probably thinking about your own life right now, about the promises you've made, the ones you've kept, or the ones that slip through your fingers. That's what makes this story so gripping. It's not just Claire's mystery. It's yours, too. You're connected to her, to this town, to the man who's been waiting, because we're all searching for answers in our own way. And I know you're not going anywhere, because you need to know what happens next, just like I do. As the days pass, Claire's obsession with the ring grows, pulling her deeper into a world she doesn't fully understand. She spends late nights poring over the journal, cross-referencing names and dates, trying to piece together the story of EM and LR. The more she learns, the more questions she has. There's a mention of a storm in '63, one that tore through the town and changed everything. Was the ring lost that night, or was it left behind on purpose? And what about the man? Sarah's research uncovers a photo of a young couple on the beach, their faces blurred by time, but Claire's sure it's them, Am and LR, frozen in a moment before everything fell apart. But here's where it gets wild. Sarah finds a record of a man who matches the description, someone who's been seen in town over the years, always alone, always near the beach. Is he the one who's been waiting? Is he still out there, watching Claire, leaving those cryptic signs? The tension's building, and you're right there with Claire, heart racing, as she steps closer to a truth that feels both thrilling and terrifying. But just as she thinks she's got a handle on it, she finds something in the journal that stops her cold. A single line that hints at a secret so big, it could unravel everything she thought she knew. Claire's breath catches as she reads that single line in the journal, scrawled in hurried ink as if the writer was afraid of being caught. The ring holds more than a promise, it guards a debt that can never be repaid. Her mind races, the dim light of her apartment casting long shadows as she tries to make sense of it. A debt? What could that mean? Was the ring a symbol of love, or something darker? Something tied to a secret so heavy it's been buried for decades? You're feeling that same jolt of adrenaline, aren't you? That moment when a mystery you thought you had a grip on suddenly cracks open into something bigger. Something that makes your heart pound. Claire's in deep now, and so are you, because this isn't just about a lost ring anymore. It's about a truth that someone or something doesn't want uncovered. The stakes are higher, the air thicker with suspense, and as Claire pushes forward, she's about to stumble into a twist that's going to turn this story upside down. Stick with me, because you're not going to believe what's coming next, and I know you're too invested to look away now. The next morning, Claire heads back to the beach, the ring heavy in her pocket, her mind buzzing with questions about that cryptic journal entry. The ocean is restless today, waves crashing harder than usual, as if the sea itself is trying to warn her. She's there to retrace her steps, hoping the spot where she found the ring might hold another clue, but what she finds instead is Tom, the fisherman, standing near the water's edge, staring at her with an intensity that makes her stomach twist. He's been dodging her questions for days, but this time he approaches, his voice low and rough. "You need to stop digging, Claire," he says, his eyes flicking to the bulge in her pocket where the ring sits. "Some things are meant to stay lost." Before she can press him, he turns and walks away, but not before dropping something in the sand. A faded photograph half buried, showing a young woman who looks eerily like Claire, wearing the same ring. You're probably gasping right now, just like Claire is, because this twist hits like a tidal wave. Who is this woman? How is she connected to Claire? And why does Tom want her to stop? This new clue pulls you deeper into the mystery, and you're dying to know what it means, just like I am. The subplot with Tom is heating up, and it's clear he's not just a bystander. He's tangled in this web, and Claire's about to find out how. Back at the cafe, Claire's hands shake as she studies the photograph under the counter, the hum of customers fading into the background. The woman in the picture has her eyes, her smile, and it's freaking her out. She's starting to wonder if this is more than coincidence, if the ring found her for a reason. That's when Sarah, the historian, calls with news that sends the story spiraling in a new direction. Sarah's been digging through old town records and found something chilling. The initials EM and LR don't just belong to a couple from the 60s. They're tied to a family that owned a piece of land near the beach, land that was at the center of a bitter dispute during the storm of '63. The debt mentioned in the journal? It might be connected to that land, to a deal gone wrong, or worse, a betrayal that cost someone their life. Sarah's voice is tense as she warns Claire to be careful, because the family's descendants still live in town, and they've got a reputation for guarding their secrets fiercely. You can feel the tension building, can't you? This isn't just a love story anymore. It's a tangled mess of greed, loyalty, and maybe even revenge. You're hooked, wondering how Claire fits into this, and what the ring has to do with a debt that's been festering for decades. The subplot with the mysterious signs around town takes a darker turn, oblivious to the eerie signs that have been haunting Claire. Seashells, notes, shadows in the distance, haven't stopped. If anything, they're getting bolder. Late one night, as Claire's leaving the cafe, she finds a new note tucked into her car's windshield wiper. "The ring isn't yours. Give it back or you'll regret it." Her heart pounds as she scans the empty parking lot, the darkness feeling alive with eyes she can't see. You're probably clutching your phone tighter right now, feeling that same mix of fear and determination that's driving Claire. She's scared, but she's not backing down. Not when she's this close to the truth. This subplot is weaving tighter into the main mystery, and you're starting to wonder if the person leaving these threats is the man who's been waiting, or someone else entirely, someone who knows Claire's connection to the woman in the photograph. The suspense is electric, and you're right there with Claire, desperate to uncover the truth but terrified of what it might cost her. Claire's personal journey is evolving, too, adding a layer of emotional depth that makes you care even more. She's always been a believer in fate, but now she's questioning everything. Her choices, her past, even her own identity. The photograph has shaken her, making her wonder if she's tied to this town, this ring, in ways she never imagined. She calls her mom, hoping for answers, but the conversation is vague, filled with gaps that only deepen her unease. It's like her own history is a puzzle, and the pieces are scattered across this beach. You can relate, can't you? That feeling when you realize the story you've told yourself about your life might not be the whole truth. Claire's vulnerability makes her so human, so real, and it's why you're rooting for her, why you're invested in every step of this journey. She's not just chasing a mystery, she's chasing herself, and that's what makes this story hit so hard. As the stakes climb, the town itself starts to feel like a pressure cooker. Whispers follow Claire wherever she goes, locals exchanging glances, conversations stopping when she walks by. Even Sarah seems on edge, her usual warmth replaced by a cautious distance. Claire's starting to suspect that the secret she's uncovering isn't just about the ring or the debt, it's about the town itself, a wound that never healed. And then, just when you think you've got a handle on things, another twist lands like a thunderclap. While searching the beach again, Claire finds a hidden compartment in the sand, near where she found the ring. Inside is a small, rusted lockbox, sealed tight, with the same initials, EM and LR, etched into the metal. Her hands tremble as she tries to open it, but it won't budge, and in that moment, she hears footsteps behind her, slow and deliberate, coming closer. You're on the edge of your seat, heart racing, because this is it, the moment where everything could change. Who's behind her? What's in the lockbox? And how is Claire connected to a debt that's been haunting this town for decades? The climax is coming, and you're not going anywhere until you find out what happens next. Claire freezes, the rusted lockbox clutched in her hands, as the footsteps behind her grow louder, crunching against the sand. Her heart is hammering so hard she can barely breathe. The ocean's roar fading into a distant hum as she turns slowly, bracing for whatever, or whoever, is coming. You're right there with her, aren't you? That pulse-pounding moment when the truth is so close, but the danger feels closer. In the dim moonlight, she sees Tom, the fisherman, his face etched with a mix of guilt and resolve. You couldn't leave it alone, could you? He says, his voice heavy, not threatening but weary, like a man who's carried a secret too long. Claire's grip tightens on the lockbox, her mind racing with questions about the ring, the journal, the photograph, and that cryptic line about a debt that can never be repaid. You're probably leaning into your screen right now, desperate to know what's in that box and why Tom's here, because this is it, the climax of the mystery that's been pulling you in from the start. Let's dive into the heart of this story together, because the answers are finally here, and they're going to blow you away. Tom steps closer, his eyes locked on the lockbox, and Claire notices something she hadn't before, a tremor in his hands, a vulnerability that makes her pause. He's not here to hurt her. He's here to confess. That box, he says, it's the last piece of a story I've spent my life trying to forget. He takes a shaky breath and begins to unravel the truth, pulling you and Claire into a tale that ties every clue together. The initials EM and LR belong to Edward Mason and Lily Reynolds, a couple whose love was the talk of the town in 1963. Edward was a dreamer, a young man who promised Lily a life beyond the sleepy coast, but their plans were tied to a risky deal, a loan from a wealthy family who owned half the town's land. When the deal went south, Edward couldn't pay, and during the storm of '63, a confrontation turned deadly. Lily, desperate to protect Edward, hid the ring and the lockbox, which held evidence of the family's corruption, proof they'd manipulated the deal to ruin Edward. But Lily vanished that night, presumed lost to the storm, and Edward, heartbroken and hunted, swore he'd wait for her, leaving the ring as a beacon for her return. You're probably feeling that ache in your chest, the weight of a love story cut short, but hold on, because Tom's not done, and the truth is about to get even wilder. Claire's mind reels as Tom reveals the next piece. He's Edward's nephew, raised on stories of his uncle's love and loss. The photograph Claire found? That's Lily, but the resemblance to Claire isn't a coincidence. Tom hesitates, his voice breaking as he admits that Claire's mother was Lily's sister, a fact her family kept buried to escape the town's dark history. Claire's not just a bystander, she's tied to this mystery by blood, drawn to the ring by a connection she never knew she had. You're probably gasping, just like Claire, because this revelation flips everything. The ring didn't find her by chance, it was fate, pulling her back to a truth her family tried to erase. Tom explains that he's been watching her, leaving notes and signs, not to scare her but to warn her about the descendants of that wealthy family, who still live in town and will do anything to keep their ancestors' secrets buried. The lockbox holds documents that could expose them, and they've been hunting it for decades. You're on the edge of your seat, feeling the stakes skyrocket as Claire realizes she's not just solving a mystery. She's caught in a dangerous game that could upend the town. With the lockbox still sealed, Claire and Tom head to Sarah's office, knowing the historian's expertise might help them open it safely. The air is thick with tension as Sarah, now fully on board, uses her tools to pry the rusted lid open. Inside, they find yellowed papers, ledgers, letters, and a confession from Lily, written the night she disappeared. Lily didn't die in the storm. She fled, pregnant and terrified, to protect her unborn child from the family's wrath. She left the ring and lockbox as a message for Edward, hoping he'd find them and clear their names. Claire's hands shake as she reads Lily's words, realizing that her own mother was that child, raised in secret far from the town. You're probably tearing up now, feeling the weight of this family's sacrifice, the love that endured through years of silence. The main conflict resolves as Claire understands her place in this story. She's the one meant to finish what Lily started, to bring the truth to light and honor a promise kept across generations. The subplot with the threatening signs ties up too. Tom admits he was working with a few locals to protect Claire, steering her away from danger while guiding her to the lockbox. But just when you think the story's wrapped, here comes the final twist that's gonna leave you speechless. As Claire, Tom, and Sarah prepare to take the documents to the authorities, Claire notices a faint inscription on the inside of the lockbox. A date and a set of coordinates, etched so lightly they almost missed it. Her curiosity, that same spark that led her to the ring, kicks in, and she punches the coordinates into her phone. They point to a spot just off the coast, a place locals call the Widow's Reef, where shipwrecks lie untouched. Sarah's eyes widen as she recalls a legend. Edward, after years of waiting, sailed out to the reef one night and never returned. Some say to hide a final piece of evidence, others say to join Lily in a place beyond the waves. Claire's heart races as she realizes the story isn't over. There's one last secret waiting beneath the water, a truth that could change everything. You're stunned, aren't you? This twist opens a door to a mystery that's bigger than the town, bigger than the ring, and it's a perfect, awe-inspiring note to end on, leaving you hungry for more. As Claire stands on the beach, the documents safe and the ring warm in her hand, she feels a peace she hasn't known in years. She's not just found answers, she's found herself, her roots, and a purpose that ties her to the past and the future. You're probably reflecting on your own journey now, thinking about the promises you've kept, the truths you've uncovered, and the moments that shaped who you are. This story's takeaway is simple but powerful. Sometimes, the things we find by chance are the things we were always meant to discover. Claire's not done. She's planning to dive the reef, to chase that final secret, and you're invited to come along. You've been with her.